You hear an introduction like that, and you hear all these accolades, the certifications, the degrees, and all that stuff, and you start to think, you kind of know who a person is, right? Today, I'm going to tell you who I really am. How many of you have heard of East St. Louis, Illinois? Well, I grew up in the projects in East St. Louis. East St. Louis has been described as America's most distressed small city. And one of the challenges that people rarely talk about when you grow up in that kind of community are the health challenges. So the area code in East St. Louis is 618. So I get this phone call. Back in 2001, I'm living in Florida at the time. I get a phone call. I know my sister has been struggling with cancer, and I get the news that she passes away at 35 years old. And then I get the final call, 2023. This was my last remaining sibling. This is Jessica. She dies at 65 with complications from diabetes. So this is everybody. 6 times, 6 emotional roller coasters, movie reels of experiences that we had growing up. And I sat in the last funeral. It hit me, look, this wasn't just about bad genes, right? This wasn't just living in a toxic environment. It wasn't just the stress of poverty. All that stuff takes a toll. But it was deeper than that. It was this perfect storm of culture, cost, and convenience that systematically, one by one, destroyed my family, just devoured us. But it didn't devour me. My cholesterol was high. In fact, it was pretty high. It was 299. You get over 200, doctors, they start to panic. So I'm at 299, basically 300, and the doctor puts me on a statin. And I just didn't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. And so I started to research, what could I do? So I cut it almost in half just by changing how I was operating. Not just changing how I was eating, but changing how I was thinking. We got to come to some realizations. It's not a physical health crisis. It's not a mental health crisis. Think about this as a software crisis. Your brain is the software that controls your hardware. Your body is your hardware. And so it's not like you're broken. It's not like your mind is defective. You just need an upgrade. Let's step back. I don't think that we oftentimes invest enough in understanding the why. Let's just be honest. We haven't changed that much since we were back on the African savannas. Our brains work about the same. So we're dealing with these complicated technological advances with software that just wasn't equipped, didn't contemplate the things that we're thinking about right now. And we're vulnerable in some very predictable ways. And in my mind, if it's predictable, then we ought to be able to get in front of it.
And I just finished hearing Dr. Jarik Conrad's talk and really was inspired. I think especially being in an executive role and experiencing burnout, it was such a great reminder for me that my health is number one, and he gave some great tips on how do you prioritize your health and how do you support your success, but also focus on your own internal compass.
We're exposed to so much information. It's coming so fast, faster than it ever has. And the new threat is that so much of the information that we're exposed to is fake. And we can't necessarily tell fact from fiction. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. This is who we were. This is who we are. This is who we're gonna be. We need to understand this. So here's what I submit to you. If we're living in a constant state of threat, it's not just exhausting, it's unsustainable. I want you to let that sink in. If survival mode is our default, then thriving becomes possible. Are you making the kind of impact at work that you want to make? Are you making the kind of impact at home that you want to make? I want to try to hack us ethically so we can figure out how can we operate in a way that's better for us and better for society. Everybody deserves a coach. How many people here have had a coach in their lives? So whether it was sports, whether it was work related, a coach is critical. Coaching needs to be democratized. It shouldn't be based on what you can afford. Everybody deserves to be the best version of themselves. I went from somebody who had just experienced this devastating loss and felt so powerless to do anything about my family, to being somebody who takes phone calls from people all over the world who are asking for advice.
I really enjoyed his presentation, and I think his personal story was really impactful to kind of capture everybody's attention, and it really made a difference. So we're almost like a race against the clock. I thought it was really scary, but it was attention grabbing.
So this is not just about you. It's first about you. You got to put your mask on first. But this is about making an impact for the people who are around you.
What hit me the most about Dr. Conrad's presentation and topic was the fact that it's about the humanity side of any job that we do. We're talking about the emotional intelligence, the engagement, the participation. So let's not forget, this is not just about fluff around people.
So before every decision, take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, what would an optimized version of me do? Before every emotional reaction you have, take a pause. Don't react, but respond. Responding is intentional. Remember, you are not broken. You're not stuck. You're not limited by your past. It's not about heredity and what your genetic makeup is. You simply have outdated software. The world is waiting for a revolutionized version of you. We're going to upgrade your behavior operating system so you can make the best impact for you, for your family, for your communities.